Welcome back to Fox Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie The Secret of Moonacre, released in the year 2008. The movie begins with a girl named Maria Merriweather attending her father, Colonel George Herbert Merriweather's funeral, with his former babysitter guardian, Miss Heliotrop. Before his death, Merriweather lost everything, so Maria only inherits a book called The Ancient Chronicles of Moonacre Valley. After mourning her father, Maria reads the book, which tells the story of a young woman that lived 100 years ago. The woman's skin was as pale as the stars, and her heart was as pure as a meteorite's. Such was her bravery and goodness. She was beloved by nature as if it was its daughter. One day, the moon blessed her with an extraordinary gift of moon pearls, and from that day forward, she was known as the Moon Princess. The Moon Princess belonged to the Dunoir clan, and she fell in love with Sir Rolfe Merriweather. On her wedding, Moon Princess's father, William Dunoir, blessed the union by gifting the couple with a rare black lion, while Sir Rolfe gave his bride a unicorn. Overflowing with happiness, Moon Princess showed the magical pearl necklace to everyone and told them that those pearls can reveal the truth in a man's heart and can grant every wish, good or evil. The movie then cuts back to the present. The next day, Maria parts ways with her staff and leaves her London palace. Miss Heliotrop decides to accompany her to her uncle, Benjamin Merriweather's place in Moonacre, citing the promise she made to Maria's mother to look after the girl. On their way to the destination, they almost get kidnapped by a bunch of thugs, but somehow manage to escape. After traveling through the rough country roads and crossing into the Moonacre estate, they finally reach the Moonacre Manor, which belongs to Maria's estranged uncle, Sir Benjamin Merriweather. Miss Heliotrop tries to tell Ben about being attacked by the bunch of thugs, but he has no interest in her fascinating story. Instead, Ben takes them inside the manor and introduces them to his dog, Rolfe, who he claims can kill in an instant. Ben then guides Miss Heliotrop to her room before escorting Maria to her room on the top of a tower. Maria initially doesn't like the idea of sleeping away from her caretaker, but she loves her room, which has its own fireplace and contains a ceiling that looks like the night sky. The next day, when Ben sees the storybook with Maria, he seizes it and keeps it in his library despite Maria's protests. Maria confronts Ben at breakfast, but he brushes her aside. Miss Heliotrop tries to diffuse the tension by making small talk, but Ben tells her he likes silence while eating. Then, he tauntingly reveals that he hasn't let a woman set foot in his manor in years. He also calls Maria's father a coward for leaving Maria with debt, forcing her to defend her father's honor. Later, when Ben is in a good mood, he gives them a tour of the mansion and reveals that the thugs who attacked them were from the Dunoir clan, advising the girls to stay away from the forest. Later, Ben and Maria go to the market on horseback. The latter was initially hesitant, but she grew to like her horse. Seeing her adapt so well, Ben allows her to stay out longer by herself, despite the threat of the Dunoir clan. When Maria hears a distressed cry coming from nearby, she secretly wanders into the forest where she finds an injured hare trapped in a wooden cage. She rescues it, but she's again suddenly surrounded by bandits, including a boy named Robin Dunoir. However, Sir Benjamin's intimidating black dog Rolfe comes to Maria's rescue and fends off Robin and his men. Robin later returns with his father to the same spot, but Maria returns back home with the hare by then. Maria begins to have strange visions where she keeps seeing a white horse running around the manor. Moreover, the stars in her room also move like they're real. Maria confronts Ben about them, but for some reason he gets emotional and leaves. Ben's dog Rolfe then leads Maria to the manor's secret kitchen. There, she meets the manor's friendly chef, Marmaduke. She asks him about her strange visions, and Marmaduke advises her to finish reading her father's book. With his help, Maria manages to get to her father's book in Ben's library. She continues reading the book and learns that after the two families learned about Moon Princess's pearls, they became desperate to claim the power of the pearls for themselves and fought over it. This upset the Moon Princess, and she cursed Moonacre Valley to be plunged into eternal darkness at the rising of the 5,000th moon, unless a pure heart is heard before vanishing forever. Ever since then, Merryweather and the Denoirs have been consumed by pride and blind hatred for each other. After reading the book, Maria returns to the chef and he tells her that only a true moon princess can undo the curse. To her surprise, Marmaduke reveals that she is the new moon princess, as she can see the unicorn. Maria must return pearls to the sea and reunite the two families to save the valley from the curse of eternal darkness. Maria puts two and two together and figures out that the very next full moon will be the 5,000th. The impending doom haunts Maria in her sleep. Overwhelmed and frightened, she runs away. While trying to figure out a way out of the Merryweather estate, she finds a cave inhabited by a woman named Loveday, who looks awfully identical to the Moon Princess. Lo and behold, Loveday reveals she herself was a moon princess who tried but failed to unite the families and break the curse. For some reason, when Maria suggests asking for her Uncle Ben's help in breaking the curse, Loveday gets agitated and she cautions the girl against bringing up his name ever again. It's revealed that the Denoirs stole the casket containing the pearls while the Merryweathers took the key to it. Maria suddenly remembers seeing the key in the book's bookmark. She then asks Loveday to take her to the Denoirs. After showing Maria the Denoirs' fort, Loveday abruptly runs away. Left with no choice, Maria sneaks into the fortress by herself. However, she's quickly spotted by Robin's father, Coeur Denoir. Maria gives him the key, but he reveals that the casket is empty, accusing the Merryweathers of stealing them. Robin locks her in the fortress's own jail, but not before Maria kicks him in the balls for mocking her. Back at the Moonacre, Ben learns about Maria's disappearance. The next day, Maria ditches her heavy gown and tricks the guard into opening her cage. She's chased by Robin and his men, but she manages to sneak into the forest, where she's eventually found and led home by Rolf. Maria tries to explain herself, but Ben scolds her and tells her to go to her room for disobeying his order. However, Ben regrets his behavior and apologizes to her later that night. The next day, Maria wakes up to Loveday in her room. She expresses her dissatisfaction with her for abandoning her, but Loveday makes up for it by giving Maria the first Moon Princess's dress. Avoiding her uncle's glance, Maria takes Loveday to the piano room. As Loveday plays the piano, Maria notices a mirror on the wall which shows her the past. It reveals that Loveday and Ben were past lovers who were engaged to be married, until one day, Loveday revealed she was a Denoir. It turns out Loveday is the daughter of Coeur and sister of Robin. After the revelation, Ben accused Loveday of tricking him into falling in love with a Denoir and broke off the engagement with her. Hurt, Loveday ran away and started living in the secret cave inside the Moonacre estate. Back in the present, Maria advises Loveday to reconcile with him, but she refuses and leaves. Later, Maria notices Ben's house help, Digweed, removing a painting of the Moon Princess that appeared out of nowhere after Maria came to live in the manor. Maria shows the painting to Miss Heliotrope and Marmaduke. The painting shows Maria where the Moon Princess hid the pearls in the forest. Marmaduke suggests seeking Robin's help in finding the tree, as he's familiar with every corner of the forest. Maria initially refuses to take his help, but when Marmaduke calls her out for being full of pride just as much as Ben and Loveday are, she concedes. Before leaving for the Denoir estate, Maria sends forged letters to Ben and Loveday, convincing them to meet. Ben and Loveday are excited to see each other, but they soon catch up to Maria's deceit when they expect each other to apologize to each other. Together with Miss Heliotrope, Marmaduke and the half-wit servant Digweed set out to search for her. Meanwhile, Robin's father Coeur learns about Maria's whereabouts through his spy eagle and vows to kill her. In the next scene, Maria lures Robin using the same injured hair trap he used to capture her earlier in the movie and hangs him upside down from a tree. Robin pleads with her to release him, and she agrees on the condition he will help her. Throughout their expedition, Loveday and Ben taunt each other for the breakdown of their relationship. Back in the forest, Coeur's men manage to covertly separate Maria from Rolf and Robin. Maria carries on with them, and she's led to the tree by the vision of the white unicorn. However, it's revealed that Coeur has followed Maria to the tree. Meanwhile, Robin manages to break free from captivity using Rolf's help, but the dog loses his life in the process. Robin hears Maria scream from a distance and runs to her. Kur is proceeding to finish off Maria, but Robin intervenes and escapes with her. Kur and his men follow them, but Maria and Robin hide under the hollow tree where Maria finds the pearl necklace that the Moon Princess hid. Kur's men soon find them there, but they manage to escape through a secret tunnel. The pearl and the white unicorn guide them out. Kur, Ben, Maria, and the others reach the cliff where the valley was cursed just before the moon is about to rise. Kur tries to snatch the pearls from Maria, but Loveday confronts her father. Despite claiming otherwise, Kur still loves his daughter. Loveday appeals to her father to put his pride aside, while Maria pleads to her uncle to squash their beef and throw the pearls into the sea. However, when the two men refuse to do so, Maria decides to do it herself and throws the pearls into the ocean. However, when the sea refuses to accept it, Maria breaks the necklace and hurls the beads into the ocean. The sea again refuses the pearls, and they get attached to Maria's dress. Left with no choice, Maria jumps into the sea with the pearls. Maria sinks into the sea and seemingly dies. Suddenly, a huge wave surges towards the cliff, and Maria appears on the back of a white unicorn. A revived Rolf also appears, having resumed his true form, the Black Lion. Ben is very happy to see his niece alive. He also swallows his pride and apologizes to Loveday for everything, and the two reconcile. The Merryweathers and the Denoirs unite and the curse is lifted. The movie ends as the Moonacre Valley is restored and Maria and Robin fall in love. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the like button to help us out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.